This episode is brought to you by The Guarantors. Chasing down residents who don't pay their rent is taxing enough. Did you know you could offset the risk of renter default? Meet The Guarantors. They'll requalify your applicants and insure their rent. If the resident doesn't pay, you still get paid. Visit theguarantors.com/multifamily today. It's not mean, it's clear. So let's talk about Candor for a second. There's a wonderful book called Radical Candor. It's written by Kim Scott. And in the book, she tells this story about living in Manhattan. And one evening, she's walking her golden retriever named Belvedere, I believe. She's walking down the street, and the dog keeps trying to tug into the street as she's walking down the sidewalk. And she gets to a red light, and she stops. As she's walking toward the stoplight, a cab passes by and almost hits the dog. And she gets to the stoplight. She's gathering herself, her heart's in her throat. And there's a gentleman standing next to her. And the gentleman says, "I can see that you clearly love your dog." And she said, "Yes, I do. And that was scary." And he said, "You're going to get that dog killed if you don't teach it how to sit." And now the gentleman has Kim's attention, and she's looking up at him like, inquisitively, like, "Okay, great." He turns and he looks at the dog, and in a firm voice, he says, "Sit." And the dog sits down. And Kim looks at him a little bit puzzled because Belvedere, up to that point in time, had never sat. In fact, Kim had such a heart for her dog. She had never taught it to do anything. She couldn't even bring herself to give the dog a cross word. The gentleman said to her, "Look, it's not mean, it's clear." So the dog has no question as it relates to what he needs to do, or even questions why he needs to do it. He just knows it's time to sit down. So it gave Kim a life lesson. And I think it gives us a business lesson, a life lesson, that the way that we deliver information to somebody is sometimes clouded in rosy language, or trying to preface it, or trying to couch it, or trying to dress it up so that it doesn't really impact somebody in a way that might hurt their feelings. But in a world that is just full of noise and full of confusion and full of vagary, it is probably time for us to get back to some very clear language, not because we are attempting to be mean, but because we are attempting to be clear in our messaging, so that when people hear what we're saying, they may not like it. Kim may not have liked what that gentleman had to say, but she certainly thought or saw that it was a clear message. She understood what to do with it, and she understood why it was important to do something with it. In this case, her dog might have been hurt very badly or killed by a passing car. I think it's that simple but not easy in business context, in relationships. They're full of emotion, but it's best to be clear in our messaging so there is no confusion. You hurt more feelings by dressing it up and dancing around the truth than you do by just being truthful, just being honest, just being firm but fair, not mean, rather, but clear. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.